Hello, welcome back to Home Brewhaha. This is, I think, week 4. This is our second week of our Barbarian kind of overview. Real quick, what do we do here? Well, at Home Brewhaha, we take the stuff that's in the book and we just make better versions of it, honestly. We just do better
more
than
interesting to us.
Yes. We just make the game better, and you're welcome for it. And then we also, go into way too much detail explaining why this is better than the original thing. So,
yeah.
Let's see. So last week we took a look at the D&D 5th edition Barbarian and all of its subclasses, at least the majority of its subclasses. There's a few little things we left out because I didn't have all the books readily at my disposal. But we discovered a couple things. One, except for totem barbarians, the barbarians in the player's handbook suck. In fact, there were exactly 3 good barbarian subclasses out of like 9.
Yeah, most of them are pretty
So
meh.
we made better ones for you, the people.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so these are completely our own creations that we did over the past week. And by over the past week, I mean I did this yesterday afternoon.
For me.
Yes, also yesterday. It was a busy week.
Yeah.
I spent 6 hours in the hospital parking lot Sunday night that I wasn't expecting. So, yeah, apparently at the hospitals you can still only have one person go in with a patient.
Oh,
So, I mean, I got to sit in the parking lot for 6 hours. It was a long day.
Yikes. Yeah, that sucks.
But, yeah, everyone's fine. It was just, it's a pain in the ass at the time. So, I did this yesterday. Don't worry, it's still great. I do want you guys at home to... I've done, obviously, 0 playtesting on this. I just thought these were neat things. So, playtest, give us some feedback. Let us know, oh, this is actually incredibly overpowered, or oh, this is completely useless, or oh, this is the best thing since ever.
We're expecting the third one.
We're expecting the last one, honestly, but in case, you misread something and don't understand how great this is, you can tell us one of the other ones, and we can explain to you how you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, that's what we're thinking.
Probably. Who do you want to go first? Do you want to do yours first? Which I haven't read yours, and I don't believe you've read mine either, as I have not shown it to you.
Yeah, I don't believe I would have had any way to read yours. Yeah, I don't care. Whatever you want to do.
All right, let's roll a d20. Oh, God, at my desk. Where's my d20? Where's my d20? I don't know where it went. I always keep one on my desk for just such important decisions. I have like 5 HDMI cables and no D20s.
Boy.
Well, this is just the worst. I don't even have any coins to flip. How do I make a decision like an adult without way to randomly generate information?
I don't have anything at my desk either.
Oh my goodness, this is the worst. Gotta have something in here. Old Xbox controller. Some more HDMI cables. I own more HDMI cables and devices, which could use them. Okay, well, we're just gonna... Oh God, I've got to make a decision.
You do mine first.
Okay,
That's
good.
cool.
I didn't want to have to make a decision.
Yeah. Originally, I was thinking I would do like a specific, subclass that was based around like an area, like maybe like a sea barbarian, like a pirate, or like a desert barbarian. I don't know. I had and then I thought maybe I'll do a throwing weapon barbarian. And then my beautiful wife, when I mentioned it to her, what I was thinking, she said, "Yo, you should just do a BarBEERian." And I said, "Yeah, let's do that."
That's what you should do.
So then I did it.
So we got some sample art supplied of kind of the vibe you wanted to go for.
Yeah.
All right. So what are we looking at here?
Well, the path of the BarBEERian, obviously, and you could call this whatever you want. It could be BarBEERian. It could be BarBEERian. It could just be Barbarian, just really hit the bar.
You could really double down on BarBEERian. Put the hyphen in there.
BarBEERian. Yeah. And basically this is just a way to fuel your alcoholic tendencies into something useful. And I envision it as a largely for flavor of your character path that you would take, although hopefully it's relatively useful as well.
All right, so let's take a look at what we got here. So you're an alcoholic, a raging alcoholic. Some people might call it a problem, but for you, it's a solution. When you take this path at 3rd level, you learn not only how to handle your liquor, but to make it work for you.
Yes.
Let's see. Fiery Belch. Starting at 3rd level, when you rage, you can use your action to exhale a potent alcohol solution in a fiery 15-foot cone. Any target in the area must make a dex save or take 3d6 fire damage. On a fail, half as much on a success. Increases at 10th, 15th, and 20th level to up to 10d6. That's pretty potent.
This was in line with, or the damage is a little higher, but it's in line with that storm. What was that path? The path of
the path of the
like elements or whatever,
yeah,
whatever that path was. The storm one had a thing like this, where it used it's lightning, but I think it could do it like when it activated the ability and then just like for free every turn, and so the damage was like 1d6 I think, and then it went up by 1d6 at these levels. So I put this more in line with like a flaming hands or a burning hands spell.
Gotcha. Yes, their raging storm ability.
Yeah. I thought, fire breathing. You drunk all the time.
Makes sense.
Thought it was thematic.
Looks like your DC is set off your 8 plus proficiency plus con modifier,
which is also from that the other path.
Yep. Using con modifier for barbarian abilities only makes sense.
I thought so.
And use it a number of times equal to your con modifier recharge on the long rest.
I wasn't sure if that was too many times. Originally I had half your con modifier rounded down or maybe up. But I wasn't sure. Seems like, because I guess you eventually get 24 con. So being able to do that 7 times seems like a lot.
Yeah.
So I would probably change it.
But there's a
half.
long period in the game where like your constitution doesn't go up.
That's true.
So I mean, basing it on a stat, I had the same problem with something I was looking at, is if a player just rolls really well and starts with a +5, that's really, really good. If you take set stats and start with 16, it's significantly weaker. So that's kind of variant, but that's just how the game is kind of played.
Yeah.
Plus, it uses their action, so they're not making multiple attacks.
Right. Yeah, and it's pretty the damage is pretty in line with the Burning Hand spell. As you sort of level it up, it's like if you were to for some reason use a Burning Hands at 9th level, it would actually deal 11d6, I think, because it starts at 3 and goes up 1 per level.
I believe that's correct.
So a little more potent. However, obviously, you only get 1 9th level spell, and that would be kind of insane to use it like that.
Yeah.
So this is a pretty powerful, but like compared to what an actual 9th level spell is, 11d6 really isn't that crazy, considering a fireball is 8d6 at 3rd level.
Yeah, and also a level 20 barbarian that has other stuff they could be doing that might in situations be more useful. Yeah, I don't think it's overpowered at all. It adds something that barbarians don't have, which is an area of effect.
Right, that was kind of my main thought for it, is that it kind of fills a void that I don't, maybe another path of the barbarian has something that's AoE based, but I don't know.
What I also like about it is Burning Hands is in short range cone spells mean your caster has to be up in the fight anyway, which makes them useless in the majority of situations. This gives it to a character that can actually, use it.
Yeah, I thought it was a fun, useful, especially and it kind of has levels obviously where it's going to be less useful. When you're ninth level, dealing 3d6 isn't particularly great, and then you bump to 5. And I thought the 20 or the 10d6 at 20th level was, if you put 20 levels in a class, you should get
a payoff.
A little something else.
Yeah,
something extra.
For sure. All right, let's take a look here. Charismatic Drunk at 6th level. Your many long nights spent in taverns regaling your fellow patrons with tales of your deeds has gifted you with a knack for winning friends. You gain proficiency in persuasion and deception. Additionally, while raging, you may add your constitution modifier to any persuasion or deception checks. That's I like that you also included a non-combat situation in here, which most of the subclasses had, and proficiency in checks that would normally be charisma based in a class that would normally dump charisma. I like, because you want your players to want to take part in the role playing, and a lot of times they don't want to do that if their rolls are going to be bad. So this is definitely helpful with that.
Yeah, I thought this was pretty in line with most of the other paths in that most of them had a level or a benefit from the path that wasn't combat based, like you said. So I wanted to include something like that. And then, another sort of just flavor thing, because also I love the idea of you go into a rage to try to persuade people to do things.
Yeah, just get super...
I'm so fucking mad.
I mean, if you've ever talked to somebody who is aggressively drunk that is trying to convince you of something,
this person's just really good at it.
Yeah,
they spin a mean yarn, and
that is a thing that occurs.
Yeah.
Then at 10th level, years of slowly poisoning yourself and finally paid off. You gain immunity to poison. That's pretty good. That's pretty in line with a lot of other classes that get the immunity to poison. Maybe, I think monks get it at like level 11 or something.
Monks get it at level 10, the purity of body, and monks get immunity to poison and disease.
Yes, they
so alternatively, if we wanted to balance it with that, though, I didn't look fully at like the monk kit versus the barbarian kit. So like, maybe barbarians get a lot of extra strengths other places that this would give them a little too much of an edge. But alternatively, I had the text would read, your blood is its own disinfectant, gain immunity to poison and disease. If we thought it needed a little bump, and to put it in line with the purity of body at 10th level that monks get.
Yeah, the immunity to poison is really good. Diseases, it comes up so infrequently in most campaigns, and also barbarians have proficiency in con saves, and con is their main stat.
Exactly, yeah.
They're least likely to get the disease, so I don't think the disease part is super important, but the immunity to poison is really nice. Because not a lot of classes, but several classes get it, some races get it resistances, so it's something that comes up, but your tank class, Barbarian, had no access to something like that. So I like that. It's the second most common non-physical damage type in the game.
Yeah,
fire.
Sure, it's fire, or maybe, and then poison, probably.
Maybe poison's even more prevalent than fire. I don't know, but
it's tough to say. I'm sure there's a lot of things that do poison damage.
Yeah.
Plus, I thought poison again is another thing that a lot of classes or just like characters get some sort of boon to dealing with innately, like dwarves are resistant to it and have advantage against it. And then there's a lot of spells like Hero's Feast I think make you immune to poison, and so it's something that it's not like you're immune to fire damage, which is, like you said, probably the most common type of
but it also frees up an item slot that characters will spend on a parafit of poison or whatever, so it's never bad to be immune to poison. And then at 14th level, you've mastered the art of moving in an unpredictable manner while intoxicated. Starting at 14th level, you may use the dodge action as a bonus action. Additionally, you have advantage on checks to escape grapple while raging.
Yeah, so this is like sort of like was it cunning action that rogues get, where you can use dodge as a bonus action? Can you just dodge,
No,
or is it just dash?
It's dash and disengage for rogues.
Dash and
However, there is
disengage.
the drunken monk subclass.
Oh, they get that. Okay.
A something similar. Let me look it up for a comparison. Way of the Drunken Master. Dodges. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought you could dodge as a bonus, but maybe I'm crazy. Let's see. Okay, maybe I'm crazy. It doesn't appear that that's.
It is pretty strong. Obviously, being able to basically impose disadvantage on attacks as a bonus action is pretty good, especially when you're a barbarian who probably has high.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, my camera took a tumble and I went to shut the door. Sorry about that. I need to get my camera
Okay.
situated a bit better. I gotta get a way to re-adhere it to my monitor. Ooh, sorry about that. Technical difficulties, folks. Yeah, it's kind of just a way to offset reckless attacking by granting
Yeah.
disadvantage to your advantage. So it definitely makes sense. And also, I'm trying to think of what else barbarians really have as a bonus action, and it's not a lot.
Yeah, it's pretty much rage, right? Rage is a bonus action.
I think so.
So like you couldn't do it the same turn you rage, which I thought brought it in line. However, if you thought it wasn't strong enough, what I had originally was when you are targeted by an attack while raging, you may use your reaction to impose disadvantage on that attack, and then it could last either until the end of the current turn or the start of your next turn.
I do like the idea of giving barbarians reactions because they have nothing but attacks of opportunity.
Right. So I was thinking that's why I kind of like the reaction, but then I couldn't figure out if that was too strong.
Well, you got to compare it to Path of the Zealot, where you just refuse to die ever. In which case, you can't make one that's too strong.
That's true.
Because this path most makes me think of the Drunken Monk.
Yeah, I think it's pretty similar.
As far as thematically, you know. And their closest thing they have, like at level 11, when they make an ability check, attack roll, or saving throw and have disadvantage, they can spend key points to cancel disadvantage. So giving someone disadvantage falls pretty well in line with what a similar class is doing. It's really hard to compare directly one-to-one across, I guess.
Right. Yeah, I didn't dig too deep into it. I checked the purity of body thing for the monk, because I was like, I know there's something that monks get that give them like immunity to poison. So I was looking to see when they got it to kind of gauge when it would fit in here. But yeah, I didn't really look too much into it. But yeah, I originally, like I said, I had it as a reaction that you just used when somebody targeted you with an attack to sort of, begin staggering. But the bonus action also works because, yeah, like you said, barbarians don't really have bonus actions or reactions just in the class.
Yeah. Not very many classes, I guess, have consistent bonus actions besides like rogue or paladin.
True.
Because paladin smites.
The barbarian just has the rage, so yeah, that's the only, not drawback, but the only limiting factor of the drunken stagger is that you couldn't do it the turn that you rage, or on the same turn that you rage.
Yeah.
In the same round, I should say.
If you wanted to make it more, I guess, limiting the amount you could do it, that way you could increase the strength, you could have them potentially expend hit die to do it, since they don't have another resource. And, you know, hit die are fairly plentiful.
Sure.
Because by adding the resource to it, you could then buff its power if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't see... This is one of the things I'd have to see in playtesting to see how often this is...
Yeah, like how big of a deal is it that you're essentially probably your tank always is imposing disadvantage, or essentially always imposing disadvantage? Because it could be something that it's like, I mean, this is fucking impossible to deal with, or especially at higher levels when creatures have like plus 15 or more to hit. It's like, all right, it's actually not that big a deal.
I think there's a really big sweet spot for disadvantage.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't really know where it falls. I would really like to see this play tested and see exactly... and the advantage on... I would turn the advantage on grapple escapes to also grapples. Just in or out of a grapple, give them advantage on it across the road. Because they're one of those, you know, touchy drunks. They get real drunk and they want to hug you.
Oh, yeah. I do love the hugging. They're charismatic, so...
Yeah.
They really are good at convincing somebody to accept a hug.
I just like adding advantage to that. Well, I guess they'd have advantage to it anyway because of the strength check.
Oh yeah, that's true. But yeah, I was mostly excited about my opening 2 sentences, or really the opening paragraph. I was really enjoyed, and then I thought the fiery belch was
Fire belch
potentially a lot of fun.
Yes, it definitely adds something to the kit that barbarians don't have.
Yeah, I got those 2 out really quickly, like in like 3 or 4 minutes, and then the rest I was like, all right, I gotta think about something to add to this.
Yeah, no, I feel that for sure. When I did mine, it came across pretty similarly. But I really like this. I would like to see this play tested, and maybe we can come back in the future and do some rehashes of some of our stuff we've done to see how we would change it. But
yeah, I'd like to see if this one especially might be fun in a one-shot. We decide to run one. We want to convince somebody to play it. I bet Ivy would do it since she picked the name.
Oh yeah, Path of Icy.
Yeah.
All right, so let's take a look at the slapdash thing I threw together. Let's make the Barbarian go away for a second. Bye-bye, friend. All right, boom. We got a bunch of text that you can't read right now. Move her over here. Because for some reason...
More text than I did. Respect.
That doesn't necessarily mean better. That just means I wrote more words.
Words.
So, a quick overview before we get into this. I wanted to make a dexterity-based barbarian because I feel like that had potential to, you know, be something more interesting than just a brute strength barbarian. And the Wardancer, it reminded me of like the troll slayers from Warhammer, or the witch. What are they called? The Dark Elves witches. Are they just called witches? You know what I'm talking about.
So yeah.
But it reminded me of like those that are, you know, barbaric in nature.
Wood elves have a Wardancer too, right?
Yes. But are barbaric in nature, but not through brute force, that have, you know, a lot of movement involved. So I tried to make a very movement-based barbarian for getting to a target and locking down one person through a field. So, for some barbarians, a rage state represents an unbridled fury and focus on violent outbursts of strength. For barbarians that walk the path of the Wardancer, however, the primal rage is focused into an almost trance-like state of rhythmic bloodlust. So this is less of a roaring, screaming, frothing barbarian, and more of a, I don't know, sick rave.
Focus rage.
Yeah. So when you choose this path at 3rd level, when you rage, you basically... I think I included everything here. I might have missed something, but basically any Barbarian Rage power that would work off your strength will also work on attacks that use Dexterity modifier. So your Rage damage will apply to Finesse attacks. Your Reckless attacks can be Finesse attacks. Your Indomitable Might will apply to Dexterity checks instead of Strength checks. So you lose out on the ability to use Strength for that, but it just moves all that stuff over to Dexterity. And then your Primal Champion ability at the end will increase your Dexterity to 24 instead of your Strength. So it just transfers all of your Strength-based stuff to Dexterity right away. Then, since that's not an actual ability, that just changes your stat alignment, basically. They also have a third level ability. So when they take the dash or disengage action, they can make a single weapon attack as a bonus action.
Oh, yeah, I like that a lot.
So
especially for movement based champion.
Yeah, it's better than the Berserker Barbarian that has to bonus action every turn. Well, I guess not, because they can only make a single attack as their bonus action. So they lose out on some damage, but they can disengage and dash while still making an attack. So, a little something. Blade Waltz. At level 6 while raging, when you would be hit with an attack of opportunity, you can make a weapon attack at the target making the attack. If your attack hits, the target takes damage as normal and you receive only half damage from the opportunity attack. So essentially you can use your reaction to try to opportunity attack the guy opportunity attacking you to reduce damage.
A trap card, you're a trap card.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's just kind of a way to God, words are failing me right now, sorry. But kind of a way to I imagine it is just they are moving around the battlefield so quickly and so efficiently that when it looks like they're leaving an opening, they're really not. That being said,
gives the reaction much more utility,
yes,
and just more flavor than just.
But the danger on this is you are using a reaction on your turn, so you have no reaction for the rest of the round. So there is a danger in it. Also, it makes it where you probably don't want to disengage from every attack because you want the attack of opportunity.
Right.
But free-flowing form at 10th level, once a day while raging, you can use your action to begin an erratic flowing dance that is almost impossible for the eye to follow. You gain the effect of the freedom of movement spell until rage ends. This ability cannot be used again until you finish a long rest.
Okay.
I thought that might be a little too much to use multiple times a day, but freedom of movement, you can use 5 feet of movement to escape a grapple. You don't suffer the downside of difficult terrain, and you can't be paralyzed or petrified.
Your speed can't be reduced.
Yeah.
Or restrained.
So, it only lasts until the rage is over, and it does take your action to do. But if something has a hold of you that you need to get rid of, or there's something that has petrifying or paralyzing threat, it gives you an option to. Because you really hate to see someone whose whole deal is diving the back line just get CC'd immediately and then just stuck. So I thought a once a day kind of get out of situation card is nice.
No, I like it. I think it's very fitting, very thematic.
Because I thought about just letting them cast freedom of movement, but one, if as a barbarian they'd only be able to really cast as a ritual, and freedom of movement's not really a ritual cast spell. And second of all, I think it lasts an hour.
It does last an hour, which is pretty big.
So, and that's too long for what a barbarian would do. So, and then this last one, it takes 2 to tango. At 14th level, Wardancer can use their bonus action to target any creature they can see within 30 feet. That creature becomes their dance partner until the Wardancer's rage ends, or until they use a bonus action to choose another partner. They gain the following effects against their partner. When they hit their partner with an attack opportunity, the partner's speed is reduced to 0 until the start of their next turn. They deal an additional 2d6 weapon damage to the partner, and when hitting with dexterity-based melee attacks, so not strength-based attacks, and not ranged attacks. And then they gain a +2 AC against the partner. This is just for locking down one single target there. Get to the back line, pick out one guy, and they're like, I'm fighting this guy.
There's a spell that's pretty similar to this, right? Compel Duel or something?
It's kind of like Compel Duel. This is... I believe
guess Compel Duel
more
doesn't do...
powerful than
Yeah, it doesn't do
Duel.
most of these things, I guess.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's similar in concept. Also, I wanted to add the reduced speed thing because it makes it where you don't have to pick Sentinel on this class, because looking at it, I'd be like, well, you have to take a feat in Sentinel.
Yeah.
But in the fact you can only do it on a single target, or that you have to pick beforehand. The 2d6 additional damage might be a little much, I was thinking, but looking at the rest of the kit, there's nothing else that adds damage to it in any way. And most other Barbarian subclasses have something. So I don't know how I feel about that necessarily.
I think it's fine. Barbarians get, 2 attacks? They get extra attack. And then this person would probably get 3, assuming that they're dual wielding.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably fine, considering this is, what does it say?
14th level.
And they can... Is there any limit on this that I'm seeing?
No, just they have to mark their target with a bonus action.
Right, okay.
So maybe I do need to institute a limit on it. Maybe just once a turn.
Yeah, I don't think the 2d6 is like ridiculous by any means. Yeah, I might say a limit just to... I feel like if they could do it... Because essentially it would be on every single person they're attacking, right? After 14th level.
Yeah.
So maybe just a limit per rest or per rage, maybe.
They can't change it until their target's dead, so they don't.
Yeah, something like that.
Make it like Hunter's Mark, where you can't move
yeah.
until... Yeah, perhaps that, just to kind of... Because the point of it is you're picking out one target, so you don't want to be constantly switching that one target.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Let's see. So it's when you hit the opportunity attack. So there's... What's the wording on Blade Waltz? So could you trigger this off of Blade Waltz?
You could, but their speed comes back at the start of their turn.
Gotcha.
So it wouldn't.
Yes, I think that would be totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think I like it. I like the flavor for it. I like that it fills a niche that barbarians don't really have. I really like Blade Waltz. That's really flavorful.
Thank you. I'm not sure if I'm 100% satisfied with it, but I do like the idea of a barbarian that can just dual wield whips and be effective in combat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of. I do wonder if, in general, switching everything to dexterity might be a little more powerful because it's going to give them quite a bit more AC.
I guess that's true because it's based off their dex and their con. So eventually their AC will be plus like 24
which is a lot, but they also
unarmored.
don't have another way to reduce any sort of damage like other barbarians have.
Right.
So I don't know at what point that becomes. Also didn't really consider multi-classing it, but if you want to get all the way to 14th level multi-classing, it's not gonna do much. Maybe get 1 AC due to the 2-weapon fighting style, but
oh yeah, because if you went like a dex fighter
with
it, Yeah,
Leaving
I mean, yeah. There probably is a way to abuse it if your player really wanted to, or if you really wanted to.
I'm just trying to think though that I don't think they could abuse it any more than a fighter or a cleric could abuse.
Yeah.
High armor class, so I don't. Yeah.
I would definitely be interested to see it play out. I think like this is a good starting point for it.
Yeah, I would like to see this play tested. It's one of those things where I think the abilities are good, but if there's a way that they are broken that I'm not seeing by looking at it on paper, I'd like to know about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you like you brought up the only way that, because I think as is, like if somebody was just going 20 levels in Barbarian, I think it's totally fine. There might be a class combo that you could do with it that would make this a little too strong, but you'd have to see it in action, and also that's a situation where you could just be like, hey, you can't do that.
Yeah, I guess if you... No, never mind. I was going to say if you chose Rogue, so you could disengage and dash as a bonus action, but you have to make the attack as a bonus action, so you can't double down.
I think it generally covers most of its potential exploits.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things.
It's pretty good. I think it looks fun.
Yeah, if you guys at home like see this and like, oh, this is completely busted because this, let me know because I'm not seeing it and I would like to. But I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. It's, but as you can see, for those of you not really super familiar with Homebrew, the only like direction we had was we're just going to make a subclass for Barbarian. And came up with two pretty vastly different subclasses based on, you know, what we kind of had in mind for Barbarian. And that's the great thing about Homebrew is you can just kind of like, I have this idea in my head of something I think would be neat. Let's just put some numbers behind it. And I think it turned out pretty well across the board.
Yeah. And I mean, like, you know, obviously I don't know. I'm not in the room when they create new subclasses for official content, but, you know, I would assume they start with an idea and they put numbers in that seem like they're in line with things, like we did here, and then they're like, all right, let's put it into combat and see what happens. And like, all right, that seems too strong. That seems strong enough. So yeah, obviously we've got some jumping off points here, and if somebody's watching this and you like the theme of one of the classes, you know, give it a shot, and then obviously feel free to adjust on the fly as you need to.
Yeah. I would also like to say that sometimes I don't think they do, you know, really test out their subclasses. Sometimes, like, what if this Barbarian just never died ever? Never ever?
What if they just were immune to death?
Yeah. Just nah. I will be posting these PDFs in our... Probably our Discord channel is the best place to do that. So I will be putting these in the Discord channel if you want to, you know, look at them or use them or make any alterations to them. Feel free. There should be a link to it in my Twitch channel description and the YouTube description. But I think that just about takes care of what I wanted to go over today. This ran a little bit shorter than I was expecting. I expected to prattle on a bit more.
It's a great intro into creating some homebrew stuff. I think Barbarian's a good starting point because I don't remember what the other classes have, but they only have like 4 things that's subclass dependent. So
also, Barbarians don't have spells, which is super big.
That's true.
And they don't have expendable resource except for rage, which really helps with balancing. Yeah, little tip: if you're looking to start homebrewing, start with a martial class instead of a spellcasting class. It's just so much easier when you don't have to take into account hundreds of spells that could fuck this up. Alright, well, I think that's where we're going to go ahead and wrap it up this evening. As far as streaming in the near future, I am next weekend, next Friday, the new Borderlands or Tiny Tina's Wonderland or whatever comes out. I'm definitely be playing some of that, streaming some of that. I don't really have a lot of streaming planned this week because I'm going to finish up Elden Ring, and that game runs terribly when I try to stream it.
Oh, bummer.
I did just beat, what is it, Milena? I don't know. The lady with the false arm and false leg and no eyes. That doesn't sound like a threatening boss. But she is the hardest boss in the game, that, to my knowledge, and she has one arm, one leg, and no eyes. And she's basically has cancer.
Well, sounds tough.
She you know what? It's a lot tougher than it sounds, but
Beating the old deaf-blind invalid on chemo.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you feel good for beating her, but then you don't feel good when you think back on it. But yeah, I plan on streaming some of that Tiny Tina's Wonderland next week, and then getting hopefully back to a more regular kind of streaming thing. We'll see. My birthday's actually coming up. Maybe I'll do a 24-hour stream for my birthday.
Ooh, be fun.
Well, let me look at my calendar.
For next Wednesday's Brewhaha, I do have tickets for one of our theater shows, so I will not be around on Wednesday evening.
So we will be changing what day we do this next week. But, okay, so not this coming weekend, and not the weekend after that, which will be my Tiny Tina weekend, but the following weekend is my birthday weekend, and my birthday's on a Sunday, so I might do a 24-hour or at least long day, Saturday to Sunday stream.
Ooh, exciting!
In 3 weeks.
Exciting.
So we'll get something put together. Until then, everyone, have a wonderful evening and get some homebrews together. If you get a really cool one, post it on our Discord. We want to see them. All right, folks. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.